I just saw Jurassic World Rebirth and I am extremely disappointed. Let's go ahead and talk about this movie. I'll review it and then I will give you guys my rating out of 10. So, Jurassic World Rebirth, I was actually really excited for this movie when they said Scarlett Johansson was going to be in it, then Mahershala Ali, then we heard about mutant dinosaurs. Like, everything just sounded really, really cool. And unfortunately, Gareth Edwards, the director, did not do a fantastic job with this movie, but I do think there was a lot of studio interference that really hindered this movie from being something great. The film is just over 2 hours long, and it's getting some pretty mixed reviews. You can see it's got a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, a 51% critic score. I believe the audience score is around 70 to 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then IGN gave it a 5. So yeah, this movie is definitely not the big hit that Universal Pictures thought it was going to be, because I don't know if you guys know the backstory or not, but they were super confident in this script that they basically let a director go and then brought in Gareth Edwards because they just wanted a director to make the movie based off the script that they had because they thought the script was that good. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk some pros and then cons, and then I will give you guys my rating out of 10. So for my first pro, I'm going to say the CGI was solid. It wasn't fantastic. It didn't blow me away. Some scenes were better than others. But I would say it was pretty consistent in how good it was for the most part. I would also say there is about 3 or 4 different action set pieces that I thought were actually really well done. One of them is this scene right here with a T-Rex and this family on a little blow-up raft. I thought that scene was really cool. There's this big boat battle scene against a couple giant dinosaurs, which I also thought was pretty cool. And then there was like an aerial scene in a cave. And then the mutant T-Rex, the D-Rex, that scene at the end of the movie was really awesome as well. Then I want to say the premise of this movie is actually really cool. Like, mutant dinosaurs at an abandoned island where this laboratory was 17 years ago. Like, that sounds cool. And then you're sending mercenaries over there to get DNA samples. Then I would say the premise of the movie, like the story itself, was actually pretty interesting, but the way that they presented it to us was done pretty poorly. Essentially, the story is these dinosaurs on this island that has an abandoned laboratory from 17 years ago. They have to go there, get 3 DNA samples to make a cure and help people to live longer and prevent like different heart diseases and stuff. And they send some mercenaries over there to do it. And it's in this like blacklisted area where nobody's allowed to go. Like, the premise is actually pretty cool. And then there's mutant dinosaurs all around this island. But boy, oh boy, what we actually see in the movie is so lackluster, it makes that premise just fall apart right away. And it made it so uninteresting, which is crazy because what I just said sounds cool. Mutant dinosaurs on an island, get DNA samples, mercenaries, that sounds badass. But now let's move on to the negatives, and the first one I'm going to talk about is the characters. Every single one of them is so wooden, so flat, so boring. I think you can sum up every single character in like bullet point form with maybe 1 or 2 points each. Like, there is nothing to these characters. For example, Jonathan Bailey's character is a scientist who works at a museum. That is like literally all you need to know. Scarlett Johansson is a mercenary and she wants money. That's all you need to know. And that's all you really get to know. Like, yes, she has a little bit of a tragic backstory. A couple people died, but we have no connection to those people. It's just a quick little conversation she talks about. So all of these characters are just really flat, not fleshed out, not very good. And that continues on to the supporting cast as well. We've got rich bad guy, literally it. Like, he's just greedy, he just wants money, doesn't care about other people. Then we've got Mahershala Ali's character of Duncan. I honestly think he might be the best written character in the movie, which is crazy because he's a side character. And then this guy, I don't even know his name, but he's not very important, and I'm guessing you can guess what probably happens to him. Then I would say the movie doesn't have a lot of suspense because we don't really have a lot of people that the dinosaurs can really hunt down. We go to the island with maybe 7, 8 people. Like, there's not a lot of bodies that can drop to the floor. I think if they brought like a team of maybe 20 people and then some dinosaurs got some cool kills or something throughout the movie, that would have been a lot better. But because the group was so small, the suspense was kind of gone because we know that not everyone is going to just die in this film. Just a few of them, maybe like 3 or 4 people, that's really it. So you don't really feel like they're in intense danger all the time. Then I would say there was a lot of stuff in this film that made no sense. Like, for example, there's this one scene where the family is trying to escape this T-Rex, and the girl, the T-Rex is sleeping, and she's obviously not trying to wake up a T-Rex right beside it. She opens a blow-up boat right beside a T-Rex, wakes it up, obviously, but then the T-Rex makes no sound, and it disappears out of the frame, and then scares them and pops up behind them. Like, what? That literally makes no sense. You would definitely hear a T-Rex, standing up and moving, and it moved way too quickly, too. Another complaint I had was there was not a lot of good sound effects for these giant dinosaurs. Like, they're walking around, and they feel weightless. You've got a T-Rex stomping around, and you just don't really hear anything, which I thought was kind of crazy for the sound design. Then I would say the story was extremely predictable. I pretty much guessed exactly what was going to happen in like the first 25 minutes of the movie. Like, I just knew pretty much beat for beat what was about to happen in this film. Another really dumb thing that happened in this movie is the Snickers bar, or I guess the wrapper of a Snickers chocolate bar, was essentially the catalyst for this entire story, which is kind of crazy. A Snickers bar goes into this door where the D-Rex is being held, and it, like, flies in, and, sparks start flying, the door gets broken somehow, and then the D-Rex goes on a rampage. I don't know, like, whoever wrote that, I couldn't believe that's how the movie started. Like, 5 minutes in, we're seeing product placement for a chocolate bar, which causes a laboratory to shut down, and I'm like, what are we doing right now? I also think they underutilized the D-Rex tremendously. Like, this monstrous, alien-looking T-Rex thing should have been popping up throughout the movie. And we see it right at the beginning and then right at the end, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, this should have been sprinkled throughout the movie. Maybe it's killing other mutant dinosaurs throughout the film, picking off team members, stalking them or something. That would have been really cool. But we did not get that. Now we've got to talk about the family. I don't even know really like any of their names. I think the little girl's name is like Isabella, and that's it. This part also makes no sense, and a lot of people have not liked this about the film. So we've got the mercenary team. That's a group that we're following in this film. And then we also get this family that's just randomly at the equator on a small sailboat. When the equator is literally blacklisted, like nobody is supposed to go there because that's where all the dinosaurs have went, because they can't survive in the upper or lower hemisphere. They have to go right near the equator, and these people are just on a random sailboat. We don't know why. This dad has his 2 daughters. One is really small, Isabella. I think she's maybe like 6, 7 years old. And they're just sailing at the equator where there's a ton of dinosaurs, and it's super life-threatening, and I'm like, why? What is going on right now? And then this family that nobody really cares about joins the story with the mercenaries and becomes major players in this film. But I will say the one good thing is the one daughter, her boyfriend is there for whatever reason too. Like I said, we don't even know where they're going. And the boyfriend was actually kind of funny. At first I thought it was kind of cringe, but there was a couple scenes where I actually chuckled pretty hard. Maybe I just thought it was really dumb and I wasn't enjoying the movie, so I just laughed, but I don't know. He was kind of funny. Then I would say the pacing of the film and how the film kept my attention was really, really poor. I was so bored throughout this film. Besides the 3 or 4 action scenes that I was talking about earlier in the review, like, my attention just was not hooked on this film. I didn't really care about the story, the cinematography wasn't great, the dialogue between the characters and the characters themselves were just boring. I don't think any of the performances were really standout either. They all felt like, a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 performance from all of the actors and actresses in this movie. Maybe the dad of that family was trying a little bit harder than everybody else, but yeah, none of the performances really stuck out to me. And another complaint is we didn't really get to understand these mutant dinosaurs. Like, all we were told is they're mutant dinosaurs, and that's it. Like, I wanted to know, okay, what's the cross species here? What did we blend? What did we splice to make this type of monster? And, Buddy right here would have been the perfect character to talk about things like that, but he's the professional, he's the scientist. They brought him on the mission specifically for his expertise, and he never really shows it. But yeah, guys, I am extremely disappointed with Jurassic World Rebirth, and this is allegedly the start of a new trilogy, which I think is kind of worrying and a little bit crazy. I still think this movie's going to make money, but it just was not very good. I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 10. I think it's bang average. I think families and little kids are going to enjoy it, especially in the summer as a blockbuster film. But for a movie critic like myself, this was just not very good. I definitely don't recommend to go see it in theaters. Let me know what you thought.